Hi, everybody. I'm Lynn Smith. I am the owner of Shea Biz Consulting and Shea Beautiful. Today, I want to talk about the consulting piece. Today, I'm here operating in the form of a consultant. And what I'm going to do is while I'm talking to you guys, I'm going to touch up my makeup and get myself together. And then we're just going to casually talk. And I'm going to share with you the number one thing that you have to be doing in order to reach your customers and be relatable. And the one thing that you have to do is you have to connect with your audience. Okay? It's fine to post pictures and feedback and your products or your services and talk about it and post all the wonderful things that people say about you. But until or unless you get in front of that camera and actually connect with your audience, you are leaving money on the table because people buy from whom they know, like, and trust. All right. So if you aren't developing that relationship with your customers and with your potential customers, you may get some success, but your success will be tripled or quadrupled if you get out and connect with your audience. Because how are you going to know what they need? How are you going to know who they are? You have to reach out and connect with your audience. Now, I get it. A lot of people who are entrepreneurs are creatives. They a lot of times introverts, and they would rather not get out in front of that camera and talk and connect with their audience. In the words of my 9-year-old niece, sorry for your loss. You are going to have to let your customers see you. And I'm not talking about presenting a perfect image always. Sometimes you're going to have to just get on there and be like, you know what? Let me put my lips on and be relatable, because people want to see that although you are a business and you're an entity, they also want to be able to connect with you. Now, I'm not saying get on here and be unprofessional and be out of pocket. I'm not recommending that, because at the end of the day, a phrase that I hate saying, but at the end of the day, you are a business and you want to present yourself like a business in a professional light, but at the same time be relatable. Now, that's a fine line, but you can walk it like you talk it. That's a fine line, but you can walk it. But the one thing that I was kept hearing repeatedly when I started going on live on Periscope and connecting with my audience is be genuine, be authentic, be yourself. You can't get on there trying to act like somebody else. Granted, you want to be a stepped up, polished up version from your normal hanging out with your friends. Feel me? But at the same time, you still want to be yourself, but you want to present yourself as knowledgeable, as professional. You want to speak clearly, you want to speak your intention and connect with your audience. People want to see a face. They want to hear a story. What inspired you to get started? How did you do it? What do you do to stay connected? How do you keep coming up with new things? So let me give you my story. I have been a serial entrepreneur for quite some time. Since I was about, I think, 20 or 17 or so, I got my cosmetology license at a young age. And then I decided I didn't really like working in the hair salon. I just didn't like the salon life. I love the smell of a salon. Even now, when I walk into a salon, I'm like, but I just didn't like the things that were going on in the salon I was working in. It wasn't, I was young and it wasn't me. Another thing, another reason I didn't like working in a salon was because I thought about the long-term effects of those chemicals you're using, and you're standing right over your client's head and it's coming right up into you. I thought about the long-term effects of standing all day. I didn't like my income fluctuating. It takes a while to get started and really make a decent income. And I didn't like waiting I didn't like not knowing how much I was going to get paid. That just didn't really work for me. And truth be told, I love the beauty industry, but I didn't like doing hair. but I think I like the science behind it and all that good stuff. So I like the teachable moments. I like learning about the beauty industry. And so over time, fast forward, I started learning about chemicals that are used in cosmetics, how harmful those chemicals are. And I just decided to create, for me, a moisturizer that was chemical free and didn't have any of those chemicals in it. And my skin started in 3 weeks. My skin, I was just like, am I tripping? Is this my skin? And so I started sharing things with some of my friends. I started reading more, learning more, and longer story shorter, I launched Shea Beautiful in 2015, selling products that I make. They're all organic, all handmade, and they're recipes that I formulated using plant-based oils and products. So, and natural products, organic products that work just as well, actually better than a lot of the over the counter cosmetics and chemical filled prescription cosmetics that you guys are paying so much money for. So while learning how to become a legitimate business and navigating through that, I did everything myself. I had no clue how to start my own business, but trial and error, tons of questions, asking my friends. I have a friend that's a CPA. I have a friend who was our IT guy. They gave me a lot of insight, and then just kind of learning and going learning as I went, and using what I had learned in school because I was graduating with my master's. I was a couple of months shy of that. So all that together, I just started to slowly navigate through the process of becoming a business owner. And after that, God kept really putting it on my heart to start this consulting business to help other people work through the same process of becoming a business owner. And I did not want to do this. I kept ignoring God. I kept putting it off. And then finally he was like, yo, I'm not playing. Start it. So I launched Shea Biz Consulting, and it's just this, because when I talk with a new business owner and I see that light in their eyes and they have all these ideas and they're sharing their passion and their gifts and their talents and they're talking to me about their business and they want to know how to get from here to here, seeing that light in their eyes, yo, I love that. I love that. I'm a problem solver. So I love being able to help people with their problems. I call myself a fixer. And if you know me, you know, if you say something's wrong, I'm like, well, have you tried this? Or what about that? I'm always trying to fix things. So actually, me being in this role as a business consultant makes perfect sense. It's just my focus is on business startup because that's when you see the spark in somebody's eye, or that's when they're the most influential. They're like a sponge and they're soaking up everything that they hear and they see and they're taking it all in, and all they need is just a little bit of guidance on what to do with all that energy. So that's why I love working with people who are just getting launched. Now I have a few customers, clients that I'm helping them revamp their vision, refresh their vision. I'm coming in and saying, these are ways that you can be more efficient. This is, going to kind of bring you into the 21st century. These are things that you need to do to be where we are now with marketing. Marketing is totally different from what it was when I first started school. So you have to be able to move with the times. And one of my favorite examples as far as talking about being able to change is I love to talk about BlackBerry. BlackBerry pretty much revolutionized the way that we use our phones initially by being able to send a message, being able to check your emails, and being able to access the web and do all these things from your phone with a keypad. I mean, it was revolutionary. They were on it. And then if you had a person who had a BlackBerry and then they had one, you could do another kind of messaging through them. I can't think of what it was called, but like I loved my BlackBerry. Loved it. Had one. I thought I would never ever have another kind of phone. And BlackBerry was on the cutting edge. But what BlackBerry failed to do was stay in front of the changes and stay in front of the technological changes that were happening. And so BlackBerry got comfortable, they got content, and then before you know it, everybody started talking about the Droid. I remember hearing my brother talk about, yo, have you tried the Droid? This Droid. I'm like, Android, what is that? And he was like, sis, it changes the way you even deal with your phone. And I was like, nah, I'm cool with my BlackBerry. Well, over time, I got an Android phone. I was like, what? Discovered apps like, what? And then the world opened up, and then BlackBerry just like went away. So, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, whatever industry you're in, you have to know that industry like the back of your hand, including knowing your competitors. And all that is tied into you connecting with your customers or your clients or your potential customers or potential clients. I don't care if you offer products or services, there is every opportunity for you to connect with your customers. You need to be on Twitter. You need to be on Facebook. You need to be on Snapchat. You need to be on Instagram. You need to be on Periscope. You need to be uploading videos. You need to be talking with your audience and connecting with your audience. They need to be able to know who the face is behind this brand, especially as so much awareness is coming up into, who is Black owned, who's brown owned, who is the owner, who owns this business. People are very savvy now and they want to know who is the owner. I want to be able to put my finger on them. Most of the places I buy my makeup from or my hair products or hair or lashes, whatever, I can pretty much tell you, okay, that's the owner. Now, there are some instances where that's not true, but I like doing business with people where I know who the business owner is. It just makes so much more sense to me now. So I am trying to tell you there are ways that you can connect with your audience, even if you are an introvert. You can do pre-recorded videos like this one is. That's a major way to connect with your audience. Or another way that you can connect with your audience is just really map out a plan, a format to talk about. I don't recommend freestyling if you are very nervous, because when you go live, something about hitting that live button and start to see people come on, you got to be able to stay calm and know what you're talking about. Have a agenda, have a format, so that even if you get off kilter or you kind of go off subject a little bit, that agenda will bring you right back to what you were talking about. Now, here is the format for going live. This is the recipe that I use for going live every single time. It's fail proof. It doesn't let you down. I love to give tips, but I love to give them numbered tips like 5 ways to do this, or 10 things you need to know about this, or 10 ways to use this, or 3 key points when doing this. Give your audience so they'll know going in. We're going to talk about 4 points. 4 points. And then once you talk about them in extensive detail, each one, then toward the end of your video, you're going to go back, circle back around and do a recap. That recap is for a couple of reasons. People are likely taking notes if you're giving valuable content. So that's one of the reasons for the recap. Second reason for the recap is there may be people who are coming on to the live and they might catch you mid broadcast. So they might catch a little bit of what you started talking about. But when you go back and do that recap, that will let that person that just came in the room know, A, if they want to go back and watch the replay. B, is this something I need to share with some of my friends? Or C, is this content really good content? And If it's good content, they will go back and watch it. If it's good content, they will go share it with their friends and be talking about it afterwards. So when you're doing live, your title, whatever you put on that title, that's what you talk about. We don't clickbait. We don't play those Jedi mind tricks. If you're going to talk about three things, three ways to put on lashes, then if that's what your title says, then that needs to be what you talk about. Now, sidebar. Once you've gone through your agenda and you've talked about that, let your audience know that's all of my content. Now we can move into question and answer, or what we can talk about, whatever. But you want to have an agenda, have a title, stick to that title in your agenda. Halfway through your broadcast, once you've gone through each point extensively, answering questions, giving feedback, you want to double back and do a recap and then go through it again. But this is more of a summarization, and then you'll wrap it up. So let me give it from the top. This is your format for going live. First things first, get on there and introduce who you are, what you do, and why people should be listening to you. And you don't literally go in and say, and you should listen to me because, but you say, I'm a skincare expert. I've been a licensed cosmetologist since 1988. I have a master's degree. I'm a certified paralegal. I'm a notary. Those are the things that why should I listen to you? I'm an expert in my field. But you want to make it quick synopsis, okay? Because that's really not what the podcast or the broadcast is about. And after that, after you introduce yourself, talk about your business, talk about your agenda, and then go right into your content. A lot of people like to do like an intro before they start, play music or whatever. I don't like long intros because I just don't. I've done it before, maybe a minute, playing some music or acting silly before I dive into content. Some people like to greet all the people as they come in the room. You'll feel your way out to getting started. Once you're ready to dive into the content, have an agenda, have it written out. That way you're not stuttering and getting lost, or somebody asks a question and you're sidetracked and now you don't know how to go back to what you've written down. So write it down and have an agenda. And then even if you get off the subject a little bit, you can say, oh, okay, number 2, we're on number 2. 2 out of 4, we got 3 more. Hang on, we got, the second thing is, you make your second point, talk in detail, make your third and fourth point. If you said in that title that you have 4 things, have 4 things. Now, if someone in the broadcast, because when the broadcast gets really good, you get a lot of interaction and it can go anywhere. But hit those 4 points first, or the 7 points, or whatever. But I like to give numbers because that gives people that they know what to anticipate. And if they come in mid broadcast and you say number 5 and your title says 7 things, then they like, okay, I can listen to a few more, and then you'll go back and do that summary. So stick to your agenda. Once you have gone through your content and given it in detail, that's about a good halfway point, typically. Then you're going to go back and you're going to do a recap. And you'll say, okay, let's start from the beginning. We're going to recap. That lets everybody know who's watching. Well, if they got something to do, they can hop off. That also lets people who may have just come on board, they're just in time for the recap. So they're going to get it from the top, but it's a recap. So they already know it's a summarized version, but you still want to give good content. You can just run through it quicker. And you're going to say, all right, these are my 4 things. This is our recap from the top. Number 1, number 2, number 3, and 4. You go through it fairly quickly, but you don't fly through it. And at that point, if there are questions or if something else comes to mind that you've thought of to add to that, or a footnote, that's a great time to add whatever footnote or additional thought that you might have. At some point during your broadcast, you want to have a neatly typed outline of your website, your email address, your social media accounts, so people will know how to get in touch with you. Encourage your broadcasters or your viewers to take a screenshot of that information. So if at a later date they want to reach out and contact you, they can. But you want to be sure, my battery is dying. You want to be sure that you are connecting with your audience. I can't tell you how often to connect with your audience, but people should be able to recognize you as the face of your business. And if you are hesitant about connecting with your audience, give yourself 2 or 3 quick points. In fact, your first broadcast can just simply be an introduction. I'm introducing myself to you and talk about who you are, what you do, how you came to be this entrepreneur. People love a good story. And then you can wrap it up. And then you will have gotten that first live broadcast under your belt. But don't let that be the last time you connect with your audience, because again, people buy from what? People that they know, like, and trust. And the more you get out there and step outside your comfort zone and connect with your audience, the more rewarding it will be. So my time is up because my phone is dying. And if this was helpful, comment below. And if you need more information about how to get your business started, you can reach out to me at info@shaybizconsulting.com. God bless.